Hello students, this is the part 2 of chapter 6 life process. So I am starting here the topic respiration. So what do you mean by the respiration? Respiration, that means students, in our first part we have discussed about the digestion, and in digestion we got to know after digestion we are getting the nutrients. So how we are using and utilizing the energy by this digested food, this process is called the respiration. So let us see here, the respiration is the process that the body uses to release energy from digested food. Okay, so digestion, after digestion the glucose will be formed. So glucose from the digestive system, oxygen from the breathing system. So we can say here, in the presence of oxygen, the oxidation of glucose molecules into the carbon dioxide, water and a large amount of energy, this complete process that is called the respiration, and by this oxidation of food we are getting the energy. Okay, and in this process is held into the cell. So that's why this process is called the cellular respiration. An electrical battery which is used for different purposes. In that same manner, ATP, just you can suppose this is also a battery. Okay, and different type of biochemical purposes the energy is required, and it is fulfilled by the ATP. ATP, that means adenosine triphosphate, where it's also a energy currency, and it's in high molecules by the 3 atoms of the phosphate. Okay, and when we are utilizing this energy for our different purposes, like different repairing of the body organs or the different metabolic activities, so this phosphate group will be detached from the ATP molecule and it will convert into diphosphate, means 2 molecules of the phosphate, and it will change adenosine diphosphate, which is low energy molecule. So students, when the energy is needed, ATP breaks into ADP and the phosphate group will be utilized for as an energy requirement. Now the energy equivalent is, remember that, 30.5 kilojoule per mole. Now this is released in a purpose of the ATP breakdown. So I am describing here 2 types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Students, aerobic respiration means in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration means in the absence of oxygen. So students, in this method, firstly I am just taking the absence of oxygen, that means anaerobic respiration. The process of the glycolysis, where the glucose is break down into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, and this is 3 carbon molecule, and finally from this pyruvic acid it will break down in the absence of oxygen in the yeast cell into the 2 molecules, 2 carbon molecules, ethanol, C2H5OH, and 1 carbon molecule of carbon dioxide, and a few amount of energy, that is 2 ATP energy. Afterwards, if I am saying to you lack of oxygen, means in our muscle where we are feeling something like the muscular cramp that is organized, or just we are facing, so little bit pain by this muscular cramp that has organized in our body. So what happened? Because of the lack of oxygen, the oxygen is not provided to the particular cell in the proper manner. So this pyruvic acid will be converted into the lactic acid, and this is the 3 carbon molecule. Afterwards, when we put the massage in a proper manner and we are relaxing or we are taking a hot water bath, So afterwards, completion or the supply of the oxygen would be in a proper manner, and in that condition, this lactic acid will be converted into again in the pyruvic acid. So this is the temporary phase, and here it is also 2 ATP energy will be released. Now, if I am telling here in the presence of oxygen, that means aerobic respiration, where it is occurred in the mitochondria. So students, you know very well mitochondria is the bank of energy. So mitochondria is the bank of energy. So we can say the pyruvic acid in the presence of oxygen will be break down into the carbon dioxide, water and a large amount of energy, that is 38 ATP molecules of the ATP. So students, you are looking that is the complete combustion of the or the breaking down of the glucose into the carbon dioxide, water and energy, where this water and energy will be utilized in our different type of functions. Apart from that, the carbon dioxide, which is the excretory part of our body, it will be excreted from the breathing system, or we are exhaling it. So students, these are the major differences between the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration. So one thing is here, the breaking down of the glucose, one molecule of the glucose into the 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, that is the common process and which is held in the cytoplasm, and this process is the glycolysis. Afterwards, in anaerobic respiration, different products are produced, and in the aerobic respiration, a large amount of the energy will be produced. Respiration in plants. In the plants, the respiration process is done by the different parts of the plant. Like in the leaves, the stomatas are present, and by the diffusion method, the exchange of the gases could be possible in the presence of the stomatas. Simultaneously, if I am saying in the stem, the lenticles or the small pores are also present, and by these pores and in the barky stems, the lenticles are present, where the exchange of gases could be possible, and similarly in the roots also. So students, in the plants, in the daytime, when the photosynthesis is possible for the plants, and in the night time or the dark time, the plants, in the daytime, the photosynthesis will be occurred, or the formation of the glucose, it will be possible, but in the night, the respiration process is doing by the plants. So the glucose which is formed in the daytime, it will be presence of the oxygen convert into the carbon dioxide, water and the ATP molecules or the energy. So students, the plants that are coordinating its biochemical reactions, like in the daytime they form the glucose, and in the night time the breaking of the glucose, they are getting the energy and releasing the carbon dioxide and the water also. So they are managing themselves, both the products, and it's a cycle and which are occurring again and again in their parts of the plant. Fine. Now respiration in the lower organisms or the unicellular organisms. Suppose the amoeba, it's a unicellular organism, so that by the diffusion method the exchange of gases could be possible here, and finally the respiration would be occurred. And simultaneously, if I am talking about the aquatic organisms, so just we can say, like in the dissolved form, their breathing system could be occurred, okay, and the conducting. The aquatic organisms, we know very well the breathing system is different from the terrestrial animals, and they breathe the different airs, or they breathe the air by the diffusion method or in the dissolved form of the water. So the oxygen is available in the dissolved form in the water. So the breathing rate of the aquatic animals is much faster than the terrestrial animals, because they have to be breathe fastly. So that's why body can gain the oxygen. Okay, now I'm telling here about the respiratory system in the human beings. Students, you are looking at here the different parts which are perform their functions in the respiratory system. The first is there in the respiratory system. The breathing is a part of the respiration. Just we can't say that the breathing system is a same manner. Students, remember one thing: breathing is a part of respiration. It's not a complete part of the respiration, because due to the inhaling and the exhaling of the air, we are getting the gases, and apart from that, just we are conducting our different functions. So breathing is a kind of or a part of the respiratory system. Students, you are looking at here the different parts of the body. So what is here? Let us see. The first, you are looking at the nasal cavity, and which is the parasolar sinuses are here. Now this nasal cavity, and firstly the openings are called the nostrils, where we are inhaling the air. Okay, fine. Afterwards, this nasal cavity is attached with the pharynx. It's a common part for the taking of the food and the breathing system. Okay, so the pharynx, which upper part where a hard bone is occurred and hard bone is present, that is the epiglottis part, where it is bound to the air that it would not be come into the food pipe. So that's why both the parts will not collapse with each other. Fine. This pharyngeal parts or the pharynx is attached below side the larynx, and now the larynx, that is also called the vocal box or the vocal cord. Fine. The voice is coming with it. Okay. When the air will touch to the vocal box or the vocal cord, the sound will be formed. Now this larynx is attached with the trachea, and here the cartilaginous rings are present in the C-shaped form. Okay, so the muscles are there, the cartilaginous cells are present here, and the mucus, which is covered to hold the part of the pharynx also and trachea also. So that's why the different dust particles or the germs cannot enter into the lungs. They will attach with the mucus, and afterwards it will be come outside or it will be thrown by our body. Okay, so now this trachea will come into the lungs by the help of the bronchus, and the both sides, the left and the right side, the bronchus or the bronchi. Bronchi is the plural word and the bronchus is the singular term of the bronchi. Now both the sides of the bronchi, they will attach with the small different fiber-like structures or the parts of the bronchi. They are called the bronchioles. In the tip of the bronchioles, the alveoli are present, and the alveoli which are helping for our respiration and the breathing. Okay, here the exchange of gases could be possible by the lungs, where we are exhaling the carbon dioxide and inhaling the oxygen. Fine. So now the trachea, and this is the right main bronchus, and this is the right lung, and this is the left lung. Just you are looking at here, the students, and now just in the below side, the diaphragm is also a muscular structure in the thoracic cavity and above part of the abdominal cavity. The diaphragm is here, and with the help of the ribs and this diaphragm just for the exhaling and the inhaling process could be in a proper manner, should be conducted. Students, you are looking at here the structure of the lungs. Just this is the trachea, and now the left and the right side of the bronchus. These are the stands of the bronchus or the bronchi, and now they are divided into many branches, and they are called the bronchioles. Left side and the right side. At the tip, on the tip there is a alveoli which are in the millions of the number for the increasing the surface area of the lungs. So that's why maximum absorption of oxygen could be possible. Okay, so here the double membrane of the pleural membrane, that and in between the pleural membrane the fluid, that is the pleural fluid is present. So that's why it can be protect the lungs from the germ. Now here you are looking the alveoli. Students, you are looking at here the structure of alveoli, which is a bulbous-like structure where the blood capillaries are coming inside it, and by this blood capillaries the exchange of gases could be possible by the diffusion method. So students, the proper surface or the proper place of the exchange of gases, that is the alveoli. So what is the process of the exchange of gases, or we can say the breathing? Okay, inhaling and exhaling of gases, that is called the breathing. So look at here the passage of the exchange of gases. First the oxygen, it will reach in the inside of the body or inside the nasal passage from the environment by the diffusion method. Afterwards, nasal cavity, the air will come into the pharynx, where it will come into the trachea, trachea to bronchi, bronchi to bronchioles, and finally the air or the oxygen will enter into the alveoli of the lung, where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide will be take place by the diffusion method, and this carbon dioxide will come into the bronchi again, finally from the bronchi to the trachea, and from the trachea to the nasal cavity, and afterwards this carbon dioxide will be exhaled from our nasal passage, and this is the process of the exhaling of the gases, okay, or inhaling of the gases. But what is the mechanism of the breathing system? Let us see here. Students, you are looking at here the mechanism of breathing. First, just look at here, these are the ribs and they protect our lungs. Now this is the diaphragm and this is the sternum. So all these parts which help for our breathing. Now first, what happened when we are inhaling the oxygen? Okay, so in that case the ribs which expands outside and this diaphragm will be flattened. Okay, so that's why maximum absorption or the maximum inhaling of the oxygen could be possible, because they increase the area of the lungs. So that's why maximum amount of oxygen can be entered into the lungs. Afterwards, now if I am talking about the exhaling process, that means we are exhaling the carbon dioxide from the lungs. In that case, these ribs will be contract inside and the diaphragm will be dome shape. Okay, so what about that? We are pressing something. Suppose we are pressing something in that manner. So by this pressure, the carbon dioxide will be exhaled outside through the nasal passage. So students, this is the mechanism of the inhalation and the exhalation of the breathing. So students, after inhalation of oxygen, the oxygen will come into the alveoli, where the alveolar surface, the oxygen will reach into the blood capillaries or the blood cells by the diffusion method, and the carbon dioxide will be come into the alveoli from the dissolved form, and now it will be, this carbon dioxide will be exhaled and the oxygen will be bound in the blood cells with the hemoglobin. So the students, you are looking at here the purified blood. It's the purification of blood with the help of the taking of the oxygen which has conducted by the lungs. So the lungs are very important for our body, because without them just we can't breathe. Without them just the respiration process could not be conducted, and afterwards the purification of the blood could not be possible, And what about that? When this type of purified blood reach to the cells, that we get the energy. So students, respiration is an important process.